Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and today we're going to make a roast pork loin with vegetables and an apple. It's nutritious and delicious, all in one pot. The ingredients for this dish are pork loin. My roast pork loin is 5.5 pounds today, but any size you got is fine with me. Garlic, salt and pepper, olive oil, yam, sweet potato, carrots, onions, and apples. It's the whole kitchen sink going in this recipe. But you can mix and match your vegetables for whatever you got on hand, but I really like adding those apples. I'm also going to make a great gravy with this dish. So before you prepare your vegetables, turn your oven on to 475 because you want it nice and piping hot for the beginning of this recipe. So we're going to get our pork in that oven and get it crispy on the outside. I have, I don't know, about 6 or 8 cloves of garlic. I love garlic in this recipe. It gives it like a roasted garlic sweetness to it. And so I've peeled them, and now I'm just going to chop them real quick into little pieces. A rough chop is just fine. So let's put some olive oil on our pork loin. About 1 tablespoon. I'm smearing it with my hand because it's just the best utensil in my kitchen for this part. Flip them over and do the other side. Now we're going to have some garlic, so I'm grabbing half my garlic and I'm going to put some salt on that. And it's probably about 1 tablespoon per side of pork. And let's crack some pepper. I am not really a pepper girl, so I go easy on this part. Now smear it around and punch those garlics into that pork. And let's do the other side. Garlic, salt, and pepper. And smear. Now I'm seeing I haven't put enough salt on it because I want it in every little square inch of this guy, even on the ends and on the sides. So I'm going to add some more. I have a great spice rub recipe that has beautiful cayenne pepper and cumin and oregano and all these things. And I love that recipe on meats. But it doesn't go so good if I'm going to be making a beautiful gravy. So because of that, he's going to be pretty simply spiced, because the gravy is going to have all that flavor. And if I had a bunch of cayenne pepper, bleh, who wants a spicy gravy? He's ready to go in that pan, and he goes fat side up. This one doesn't have a lot of fat on it. I don't know. Maybe it's because he was on sale. It was only $2.49 a pound. But I'm not going to have the pork crackle skin on it because this guy's kind of naked. But that's fine. The gravy is going to do the job. Because with pork, I think it's great to have sweet side dishes with it. So I'm putting in sweet potato and yam into my big roasting pan. I'm putting carrots in too. And you know what? They have a whole different set of vitamins. So the nutrition factor is going to be a little spiked up if I can get people to eat a little bit of everything. I love roasted onions. So I'm going to put some of those in too. And all you have to do is cut them up in half and take the skins off. And then do another cut. So those are in quarters, but I'm going to make it in eighths. It's easier to eat that way. And sprinkle them in. Add as many as you want, but since I love them so much, I'm going to add 3 today. The flavor of apples works so great with roasted pork that instead of having that pork and applesauce classic, I'm going to throw in some apples chunked up, just like my other vegetables. Your kids will love that part of the side dish. That'll probably be their favorite. I peel in these little bags from the grocery store because I will not put this stuff down my drain. I've had to call the plumber once when I put a bunch of artichokes down there. Voila, trash. This is the fastest way to rough cut an apple and to dodge that core because you're only making 4 slices. There you go, into the pot. 1, 2, 3, 4, pour. So once we've got all our vegetables and apples in our pan, we're going to sprinkle it generously with some salt. That's probably 1 full teaspoon. Add to that 1 cup of water. This is going to keep the moisture in the pork. It's going to help so those vegetables don't get too dried out. And it's going to create the base of our gravy. I'm pushing the vegetables and the apples away from my pork because I want the air to circulate around it and develop a crust on my pork. The oven is at 475. It's really hot. It's preheated. Let's put it in for 35 minutes because we want that crust to develop. It's beautiful. Now we're going to toss our vegetable medley because we don't want any particular piece to get too brown on top. We want it all moist. I see some water in there. And you know what? I'm thinking that water is evaporating pretty quickly, so I'm going to add 1 more cup of water. And so just pour it around. Now here's the trick. We've got to turn that stove down to 375 for the rest of the cooking time. 375. And the oven's already hot, so I might let a little air out of it. And so the rule of thumb is 30 minutes per pound of beef. Now this is 5.5 pounds of beef, so that's going to be 2.5 hours, so that stays in that 375 oven. I like my pork just perfectly cooked and not overcooked. If it's overcooked, that pork will be dry. So timer to 2.5 hours, and we're in business. It's been 2.5 hours, it's ready. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna make my gravy now. So we're gonna take our pork roast out and let it rest on the counter for about 20 minutes because we don't wanna take a cut and have all the juices run out. So by letting it rest, it makes the juices congeal in it and makes for a much more moist pork roast. Cover it with 2 pieces of tin foil to keep the heat in. The goodies for the gravy are on the bottom of this pan. So I'm gonna remove my vegetables. The vegetables are so soft. They are perfectly cooked. I'm going to get most of the vegetables out of the pan, but leaving some of them in is fine. Just get the bigger hunks out. The others are just going to make the flavor that much better. So cover your vegetables to have that sit on the counter till it's serving time as well. Let's continue on with our gravy. So turn your stove on. I turn it on to high because I like to cook fast. Twirl around your vegetables and try to scrape up all that goodness on the bottom of that pan. When it starts to bubble up, you're gonna add some plain white flour. I add 2 tablespoons and incorporate all that fat and that juice into the flour. You're making a roux now. So it's gonna be turning into a paste. And you want that to cook a little bit. It takes out the texture of the flour out of your gravy, which is good. You want it a little cooked. As it starts to get thick, scrape it off. I'm adding a cup of water now to my paste because I want to get a creamy texture, and stir it around till it's all incorporated. Depending how much juice came out of your pork and how much evaporated, you can add a little more water to it. So I'm adding another half a cup. I love doing gravy in the pan where the piece of meat came out of, and the reason is you don't miss a single bite of those little renderings from your meat. It also saves on the mess in your kitchen. So you can keep adding water depending on the thickness you like in your gravy, and keep working out the lumps. It's evaporating fast, so I'm adding more water to mine. So that's a total of 2 cups for my recipe today. It all depends how much of the juice comes out of that pork into your pan. You're going to want to test your gravy for flavor, and this is where you test it, right on the stove. So be really careful. It's good, but it needs a little more something, a little more punch. So a trick is to get granules of a bouillon. This is a chicken bouillon, and this will work just fine. So this is 1 teaspoon. Now let's mix that up in it, and we're going to taste it again. Oh my gosh, it made a big difference. If you don't have the chicken bouillon granules, you could have used chicken stock instead of the water. But this is very inexpensive to do this method. Okay, that's done. Off it goes. If you like pepper, this is the time to add it. I add a tiny bit because I don't like pepper that much. I didn't have to add any extra salt, but hey, it's up to you. I found my little gravy boat. It's gonna go in there. Wow, look at that. Make sure you get every little bit out of your pan. Now that my gravy's done, it is time to cut the pork. So this goodness goes into my gravy. I'm not losing a single drop of that terrific goodness. And stir that up. So let's cut up the pork. Look at how easy that cuts. Oh, it is beautiful. That's a fantastically tender piece of pork loin. One of the hardest things to do with a big pork loin like that is to get it super tender. This recipe has it fork tender. Look at that. It is amazingly soft and tender. Wow. Oh boy. Here's my bite with that apple and a little more gravy. And we're in business. Subscribe to my channel and let's keep cooking together. What a dinner for your family and you.